Hey everyone, today we've got the review of this, which is the Appalachian Drifter. It's a knife by Civivi, so this will be made in China. They're usually pretty good quality though, at least from what I've seen. This retails for just a bit above £100 usually. They can be had on Moonraker knives, Who knives, tacticalknives.co.uk. I did have a little look, and it does look like these are running a little low on stock everywhere at the moment, but you can still find them around. So the action on this is quite nice. It runs on ceramic bearings. As such, you've got quite a snappy action with the detents there. You have yourself your Civivi captive pivot design here, so you've got a nice show side pivot there. T8 here, you have T8 body screws just holding these scales on, and then you have T6 screws under that holding these liners to each other. The scales here are a carbon fibre G10 mix. This is sort of the yellowy green one. I very much like this one. You can also get this with blue. I think you can just get it in plain black as well. You can get these with Macart handles. You can get these in not Damascus if you want. So there's a variety of these floating around to suit all tastes. Do get yourself a lanyard hole through here, which it's quite tight. It just slots in between the holes in the backspace of there. Might be an idea to take off the scales to do that though, because like I said, it is a very tight fit. Under the scales you have steel liners, which are coated in black to match the black damask that they call this. And as you can see, it's sort of been coated at the top there. Like they've just left quite a lot of the black etch on there, so you can see it's all black around here as well, and up here. You do have yourself a pocket clip, which sadly is only right hand carry, tip up, and that's again always a shame because this is otherwise an ambidextrous knife. So, and to add to further that, if you remove this pocket clip, which I'm sure a lot of left-hand people would just end up doing if they can't have it on the correct side for them, you'll just be left with this horrible little recess in this scale. So, a bit of a shame there, really, to be honest. The clip is black coated as well, just like the liners. And as you can see, it's actually held up quite well. You can see like a little bit of paint is rubbing off the edge there. You can see it silvering up. But in general, that's actually put up quite well with the wear and tear. And I do really like a darker pocket clip just to help hide it. It's also deep carry, as you can see, so it will hide the whole knife. Haven't had any issues. Yeah, just lanyard in down by the side of it. No worries whatsoever. This carries fine, as you might expect. Just very ergonomic. No problems. Blade material is sort of the sandwiched Damascus again. I think it's 12C27 in between these two, but I'm also not sure. Whatever it is it's not the finest steel, as it has several blunt spots, and I was using this to open a packet the other day and it was getting caught every so often. I'll give this a sharpen and a strop after this video just to bring it back, but yeah, this is definitely one that will need sharpening a little more often than, say, like, you know, your super knives or whatever. But yeah, you know, it's not too crazy pricey either, and I gotta say, I do really like that Damascus pattern. You don't get any logos anywhere except for on the pivot there, so if you like a nice sterile look, you know, Damascus and all this aside, I guess. But there's no writing on this knife anywhere that I can see. You do get a little sharpening choil. You do not get a finger choil, which I'll come to in the sort of like negative portion in a minute. Centering is fine. There you go. Look at that. No issues there. No blade play. There we go. So let's get the others out for a size comparison. There is your extremely shiny Benchmade 940. And there is your reasonably shiny Buck 110. And again, obviously a lot smaller than both of those. And for the UK market, there is a UK PK. And here is a Victorinox Pioneer. So, problems on this knife that I've discovered are basically there's two. If you've got wet hands, that jimping there just doesn't cut it. It's a very small amount of jimping. As you can see, it only goes really across that tiny little bit. It's just enough. If your hands are dry, absolutely no issue. Look at that. But I do work with food utensils and stuff and like that at work. So I do have to occasionally clean them and wash them up and wipe them and stuff like that. And that will result in my hands being wet. This was a little bit of a pain to break anything down, like a box or anything, or open anything, if my hands were wet, because this just wasn't happening. You obviously can still use the long pull here to just open this, like a nice traditional, which is a lovely option to have if you don't want to get this out and be aggressively flicking it open everywhere. You can still absolutely just treat this like a traditional. But, I feel like the jimping there could have been a little more aggressive, especially since it's just completely gone when it's in there. The other negative thing about this is it doesn't have a finger choil or any kind of finger protection. So if I do that, and then and you can see it, just the edge here is just going to go straight into my finger. So if this does lose its grip, and it is a double detent, so if any knife's going to do it, it is going to be a detent knife. It's going to go straight into your finger, and I don't like that. I like detent knives to have, some form of protection, like the Who Knives V1, where if it's going to close, it's going to be that little kick there that closes on your finger instead of the blade. That said, I do really like the way this Damascus pattern sort of flows on with this drop pattern into this carbon fibre G10 mix. I do think this knife looks very good. It's very nice to use, very comfortable to use. That blade shape is just lovely. It's a nice hollow grind, by the way. It's going to be extremely difficult to show that on camera, but either way, that is a hollow grind there. Really nice swedge on that. Beautiful blade shape. Very good at, poking through stuff, like getting into the start of boxes and things like that. This thing has absolutely weathered it. And again, I have absolutely used the crap out of this. This has been on the review bench for way too long, just as everything seems to be at the moment for me. But as you can see, that Damascus looks fine. Oftentimes with just cheaper knives or things like that, you'll get scratches on this Damascus, which is obviously no good because it just ruins the whole look. But this seems to be well done enough, good enough that I haven't really had, going through nasty cardboard and things like that. really haven't had any issues with it. So kudos there. What I would say is this thing is up against some fairly stiff competition in this bracket. It just so happens I've been reviewing a fair few like UK legal, in my opinion, flippers recently. This is this knife's biggest problem. That's titanium and M390 for around about the same price. That's pretty hard to beat the Who Knives V1. And you can get this in black and everything. So if that's not your style, though, there's also, for again around about the same price, in M390. This one's in micarta, but you can get them in carbon fibre and titanium as well. Is the Monterey Bay Knives EWC, which will also should be going up on my channel as a review soon. So it's in a competitive market, this one. However, I do think it's quite nice. It's feels very solid with the liners as well. So it doesn't feel like it's flexing in your hands a bit. Like this one, the liners, it does have liners, but they're a lot thinner. And as you can see, I can bend the middle together there. So, that's not going to be an issue on an everyday carry knife, but, you do feel it. This one, there's no chance of that. Those steel liners are solid. So yeah, in general, I quite like this one. It looks quite nice to me. I really like the blade shape. The handle shape is very ergonomic. It was quite nice to carry, didn't have any issues, quite discreet. Easy to deploy most of the time unless your hands are wet. I've got to say, I really don't have any deal breaker issues with this knife. Like I said, I don't generally tend to care too much about a knife closing on you because I'm only cutting cardboard. I'm not doing anything crazy with these, so that's enough for me. But if you are worried about that, this is maybe one to skip over. But overall, absolute seal of approval. I like this one. So thank you very much for watching, and cheers.